This is Transformers Volume 1, and you can pick this up at Amazon. I got the link in the top of the description. Basically, this is comic book 1 through 6. So we're putting a couple videos together so you can enjoy Transformers from Skybound Volume 1. Let's begin. Okay, here we go. Transformers number 1, Energon Universe. Let's begin. Well, the first page, as you can see, looks more of like a remembrance page. That's Spike's dad there, remembering some things happening in the war. You see the Ark spaceship in the second panel. It looks like it's just flying into Earth. And there you see Optimus Prime, a non-functioning Optimus Prime, just laying there dead. And then we get into the family aspect here of Spike and his father. You can see his dad just sitting at the bar, drinking. Looks like he's dealing with a depression, something that's happened in his life that was hard to deal with. And Spike is like, "Dad, come on, man. Come on. You're better than this. You're better than this." And his dad's just saying, "No, I got to get to work." And his friend Davey shows up and is like, "Hey, you want to ride to the night shift?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's telling Spike here, "You got to grow up, man. You got to grow up." Spike's like, "Well, I'm leaving. I'm going out with Carly, and we're going to go look at stars." Because what Spike can't tell his father is that he wants to become an astronaut. And we get our first look here at Carly, and she's got one of those 80s style vans you can see with the artwork on the side. And so they're heading out. They're heading out to a new spot to go look at some stars. They find this mountain. They're going up there, and Carly's trying to let him know. It's like, "Hey, you need to tell your dad what you want to be. You just need to tell him and get it over with." And they just have a little moment while they're setting up the telescope. Then all of a sudden, boom, it breaks and they fall into the mountain. And it appears that they're both okay. And there you see it, the back of the Ark. And they're just like, "Where are we? What is this place?" And we finally get our first shot of the Transformers. And I love it because it's all G1 inspiration. You can see Optimus Prime there, Soundwave, Starscream. They're just laying there. They're all dead. And who knows how long they have been there. And if you could see off into the distance, you could see Jetfire. He's finally found them. And he shows up, all while Spike and Carly are like, "What is going on here?" And Jetfire's like, "My fallen friends, it's finally time." And he goes over to Teletran 1. And he's like, "Teletran 1 is going to put you guys back together. And they're going to give you a new body, like a new transform ability that is kind of like the things we see on Earth." Basically saying, you guys are going to be cars and planes, the things from Earth. So he loads the program into Teletran 1 to start rebuilding the Transformers. And lo and behold, the first one that gets put together is none other than Starscream. And Jetfire's like, "Oh, my old friend. I haven't seen you in centuries." And Starscream's like, "Hey, thanks for putting me back together." And immediately looks on the ground and sees Bumblebee, a fan favorite, by the way, and just blasts him in the face, just I guess finishing the job, making sure that no, he's not coming back, that Teletran 1 can't do anything. And Jetfire's in shock. He's like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? And Starscream is beginning to tell him, "Hey man, we've been at war for years. Okay, so step aside." And then him and Jetfire get into a little scuffle, and Starscream's like, "Man, I got to do what I got to do," because he's the psychotic one. He's also my favorite Transformer because he's all over the place and he just wants to rule, and he's just so psychotic, and he does whatever he can do: lie, steal, cheat, kill, manipulate, anything to get the job done. And he always fails, but that's just who he is. And he's always Megatron's number 2 in the G1 series. It's quite the unique character. We'll see here. He shoots Jetfire and he's like, "Man, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is weakness. What a waste." You know, he's like, we must be vigilant. We must wipe them all out. So immediately, as he goes to probably end Jetfire and any other Autobot, looks like Ratchet Optimus Prime has been brought back. And he comes in clutch with a clothesline. And you're going to love this series because there's a lot of WWE in this series, okay? So he hits Starscream with the clothesline. And he's like, I thought you were a warrior, Starscream. Starscream looks at him and says, unlike you, Optimus Prime, I'll do whatever it takes. So they look like they're getting ready to go into battle. And Prime hits him with, I believe, the German suplex right in front of Spike and Carly. And Spike's like, run. And Prime finally notices the humans. He's like, what are you? Like, you must be the creatures that live here. All while Starscream gets up and he starts shooting. And then before he could take out Prime, Ratchet has been brought back. And he kicks Starscream in the side. This book is filled. It's filled with stuff. I love it. The action, and you don't know what's coming next and what's gonna happen. I love it. So now you got Ratchet and Prime, but Teletran 1 is still putting Transformers together, and Skywarp is up and he's laying it down. He's making sure that Prime and Ratchet take cover. And Starscream's like, Skywarp, Teletran 1 is reconstructing us randomly. Bring our fellow warriors over here. So Starscream's got a plan. He's like, bring all the Decepticons over so we get brought back first. You can see him dragging Soundwave, and they start rebuilding the Decepticons. So Prime looks over at the trailer, and he's like, hey, we got to load up our fallen comrades in there and see if we can get them out. And he also notices his gun, right? And he's like, I got to get this gun. It'll change the fight. So as he's running to get the gun and Ratchet's loading up the fallen Autobots into the back of the trailer, you see Soundwave is been reborn and he's active, and immediately uses that shoulder cannon and blasts Optimus Prime. You can see the explosion. Ratchet's looking over there like, oh my gosh, is Optimus all right? And then it happens. Prime sees the dead body of Bumblebee, and he's just like, Bumblebee. And I'm shocked that they went this route and did this with a fan favorite. Does that mean he's gone forever? I have no idea. But you could see Prime just visibly upset, and everything just kind of stops as he looks at his old friend. And again, Bumblebee, a Transformer favorite, for them to kill him off in the first episode of this series is crazy to me. I can't believe that happened, but here we are. And while Prime is mourning his friend, Starscream comes out of nowhere and puts him in a chokehold, and he's like, look at you mourning over the weakest of them all, just like throwing insults. You got Soundwave, he ejects Ravage, so Ravage is reborn. And this whole time, Prime is just reaching for his gun. He's like, if I can get my gun, I could change this fight. So what does Spike and Carly do? They run and they push the gun. Prime gets it in his hands, turns around and just destroys Ravage. You can see Soundwave like, no. And every time I see them talking, the voices that I have for them are all from the original cartoon that came out long ago. Like that's what I hear when I read this comic book series. And what voice? I got Peter Cullen. I got all of them in my head when I'm reading this. So Teletran 1 is still bringing Decepticons back, and then you have it. He's like, would you just die already? He goes for the curb stomp on Prime. Prime moves out of the way, and he does something that he doesn't want to do, but he has to do. Takes his gun and he blows up Teletran 1, taking one of the Decepticons with him. You can see Starscream screaming, no! And Ratchet's like, man, we got to go. We got to get out of here. And one of the coolest, I guess you call them splash pages. You can correct me if I'm wrong. You see Prime scooping up Spike and Carly and running through the flames while there's gunfire and everything going on. And Starscream is yelling at the fellow Decepticons, what's going on? And he's like, we got low power. We don't have enough power for this fight. We can't do this. And then we get the line, Optimus Prime transforms and says the thing. He's like, roll out, and off they go to an escape. Now they're being chased by the Decepticons, and Jetfire has awoken, weak. And he's like, I can't believe this. There's Prime. They're trying to kill Prime. And he's like, I got to go help my friend. So he goes after Starscream in his weakened state. Starscream's like, what the heck? Turns around and just blasts Jetfire. So now Starscream has not only taken out Bumblebee, but it looks like he's taken out Jetfire. Two huge fan favorites in the G1 Transformers are taken out in the very first episode. This is shocking. And the Decepticons are telling Starscream, look, we don't have enough energon. We don't have enough energy for this fight. We've got to find some energy, and we can make this happen. Prime goes to a hideout spot, sees his friend Jetfire, and Jetfire goes through all the emotions of, this is my fault. Please forgive me. I didn't know we were at war. I haven't seen you in so long. And Prime is telling him, hey, you have nothing to be sorry about. There's no need for forgiveness. You were doing what you thought was right. And as we sit there, Jetfire passes on. No more Jetfire and Bumblebee. Getting back to the Decepticons, Starscream is screaming at Soundwave, can you get this thing fixed? Teletran 1, he's like, nah, we can't fix it. And Soundwave is still like upset about Ravage. And, you know, and Soundwave's like, I think we got to find Mega. He almost said it. He almost said Megatron. And Starscream stops him. He says, do not say his name. I am the leader of the Decepticons now. And immediately we go back to Spike's dad. And he's just getting off work. And he's trying to get just go home and not deal with anything. And his friend is like, hey, man, you need to really be a father to your son. He goes, you know what, Dave? You don't know what you're talking about. Leave me alone. And while they're getting ready to get into an argument, Starscream shows up at this power plant. And he's mumbling and all upset. And he's like, man, I got to do all the work myself. You know, I'm supposed to be the leader. And Starscream notices humans. And he's like, what's this? And you can see they drew like an evil grin on his face. And he's like, are you the creatures that live in this place? And Starscream picks up Spike's dad's friend, Dave, and just squishes him like a grape. And that is the end of episode 1. You can see Starscream's face saying, so pathetic. And I love it. This set the tone for the whole series. And I can't wait to get into all of it and share this with you. I hope you liked the first set. Let me know what you thought of number 1, Transformers number 1. Put it in the comment section below. And also, if you're watching these videos and you're like, man, I would love these books myself, I'm going to put the Amazon link to volume 1, and they also have volume 2 out already, in the top of the description. You can go check it out and get it on Amazon if you want to go through it yourself. Anyway, number 1 is done. Thanks for watching. This is Jay. We're going to go through the whole series. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that stuff, and we'll catch you next time. Transformers issue number 2, and can we take a quick moment and just look at how awesome the cover of this comic is for issue number 2 with my man Starscream right up front, right where he should be. And just a brief recap, in issue number 1, the Autobots and Decepticons were woken up. You know, they were crashed in Earth, in the Ark. They were woken up, and a few of them were brought back, and they picked up right where they left off. Now, this issue starts with Optimus Prime checking out Earth for the first time. He's like, man, this world. He sees the birds and the trees and the frogs, and he's like, man, look how beautiful this place is. And all of a sudden, you hear a crunch, and he stepped on a deer. And he's like, my goodness, what did I do? I can't believe this. And he's like, I'm so sorry. And Spike comes out and he's like, hey, I saw the whole thing. It was an accident. It's okay. I mean, he should have said something like, you know, a lot of us hit deer with our car, so, you know, it's their fault. Why would a deer not run away when you see a giant, robot heading your way? But Prime is like, I had no idea that your home was so fragile. I'm not used to that. Everywhere I'm from is metal. And we start to get a quick origin story of the Transformers. Many people not knowing what the Transformers are, where they're from. Prime begins to explain exactly what's going on and where he's from. He's from a place called Cybertron. It's beautiful in its own harsh way. And he's like, there was peace on my planet for as long as I could remember, for a millennia. But then, because of greed and power, a war started. And we've been fighting this war for so long. And Spike was like, is that who that gray red one? He goes, yeah, Starscream is one of many who have been fighting for centuries, among others. And here we get one of the first images of Megatron, the Decepticon leaders. Now, where is Megatron? He obviously wasn't in the Ark. A little spoiler, but maybe not so much. And I'll have to cover it when I start covering the G.I. Joe comics. But first, we're going to catch up on the Transformers. So we're going to go straight to the current issue, and then I'll catch up on G.I. Joe and Destro and Duke and all the others. We're gonna do it all. All right, so stay tuned. But he remembers, he goes back and he's like, we were losing the battle, and we were gonna leave our home planet to try to regroup. But yeah, the most powerful one, Megatron, he started the fight, and the last thing I remembered was seeing your planet right before we entered its atmosphere, and then everything went dark. Now, Megatron was picked up by Cobra. There's your little spoiler. So he's been tied up by Cobra, yes, from G.I. Joe. So you're starting to see, like, we're all in the same world here, in the same universe together. Now, that's a story for another time, but we'll get into it. And Optimus Prime thanks Spike for his help. He's like, if you didn't help me, I didn't know what would happen. While he's still like pondering on family and what just happened. And all of a sudden, we get Cliff Jumper. Cliff Jumper, who didn't get enough respect in the G1 cartoon way back when it was all about Bumblebee. But now, Cliff Jumper. And Prime is like, it's so good to see you, my friend. And he's like, what's going on? And before they can even talk, Cliff Jumper sees a human and he's like, what the heck is that thing? And he turns around and sees Carly and he's like, what are you? And she's like, yeah, I'm not really a spider. What's going on? And so Cliff Jumper's having a moment too. He's like, what are these beings? What's going on here? They introduce themselves. They shake hands. And then they go back to their hiding place where you could see the fallen brothers that haven't been brought back yet. And Optimus is talking to Ratchet saying, what can we do? And he's like, we don't have enough Energon to bring everybody back, and it's going to take forever. And Prime's like, maybe take some of my Energon and Cliff Jumpers. Let's try to bring back a few more. And so they begin to explain what Energon is. Again, it's like an origin. Correct. It's gathered from natural resources, and it keeps us alive. It's like your food, and this is what we need to bring back our brothers and sisters. We need a lot of it. So Prime's got to figure out how we get Energon to bring the rest back, how to defeat the Decepticons. All this stuff is going on in the second issue. So now we go back to where, remember in the first issue where Starscream went to the electric plant and was getting charged up. The police have showed up, and they're trying to explain to the police, my gosh, it was a flying plane. It was a robot that looked like the plane. And all of a sudden, while they're talking to the police, Skywarp just makes a landing right here. Boom! He's like, watch out, weaklings. It just lands on top of them along with the other Decepticons, And Soundwave is like, Rumble, begin construction of the energy transfer. And Starscream, of course, is like, what are you doing, man? We don't need anything else. What is this? Why didn't you explain it to me? And Soundwave is like, all right, look, this is going to collect the energy that we need, And while they're talking, the police are shooting at the Decepticons, and Starscream just stomps them out. You can see like a little hand there. They just get totally flattened. And they start with Skywarp, and Skywarp is like, it's working, man. It's working. We're getting our energy. And then we get to this moment. That's pretty awesome. So you've got a fighter jet in the air. And they're like, we got to go find some bad guys. Let's see what's going on. And Soundwave's like, I'm picking up a communication. They're sending some countermeasures. And Starscream's like, oh, the squishies? They're trying to fight? I got to see this. And Starscream transforms into his jet as a seeker, and he goes after them, and he starts shooting the jet, you know? And they get into this dog fight, and Starscream's just like toying with them at this point, you know? And the other ship is just trying, you know, to maneuver to get them. Starscream transforms, right? And he's like, this is fun. And he's able to like shoot the jet, and the people eject. The one guy ejects right in front of Starscream. Starscream says hi and does a double clap, and you can see splat, just totally flattens the guy. The other person is screaming. He's like, no. He hits a button. He pulls out his own jetpack, pulls out a gun, does some maneuvers before Starscream could kill him, ends up shooting him in the face and making an escape. Starscream, of course, is like, I can't find them. He's like, whatever, humans, whatever. Y'all gonna be dead eventually. And we get the name reveal. Starscream was fighting Duke. That's right. Duke from G.I. Joe. That's what's going on here. So we've got our first little combination of G.I. Joe and Transformers. It's freaking awesome, you know? And now we go back to Skywarp, and he's just toying with the humans. They're all calling him squishies, you know? And they're like, Soundwave's like, Skywarp, look out. This giant plane shows up, and they start running, and then that's it. We don't know what happened. We go back to Optimus Prime, and Prime is like, man, what's going on over there? And Spike's like, my gosh, it's the plant. That's where me and Carly's dad work. And Optimus Prime's like, Dad? Like, what is that? Now Spike is getting upset. He's like, oh, something must have happened. You know, Cliff Jumper looks out and says, man, it's the Decepticons. They're over there. And Spike's like, man, we've got to get over there. We've got to do something. And Prime goes into this mode where it's my duty to now defend the humans. That is Optimus Prime to a T. They have captured who he is as a hero, as a self-sacrificing hero, defender of the weak. That is Optimus Prime, and I love what they have done with his character. It is unbelievably awesome, and I'm loving every page of this series. Prime transforms to his truck. He's like, get in. And Carly's like, I've got to go check on something. I got to go home. I got to head out. Carly gets in her van, followed by Laserbeak. She gets home, goes inside, and she's screaming for her dad. Dad, who's there? Someone grabs her, and it's Mr. Witwicky, Spike's dad. He's like, I just got here. Carly's like, where's Spike? Where's my dad? And he had to tell her, they killed Davy. They killed your dad. Starscream squished Carly's father in the first episode, and that is the end of issue number 2. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Number 3 coming right up. This is Jay. Make sure you like, subscribe. Thank you so much. And again, if you want to read these for yourself, I highly recommend it. In the top of the description, I put volume 1 where you can get from Amazon. Check it out if you want. We'll catch you next time. Transformers issue number 3. And can we just appreciate the cover real quick? Look at that. Optimus Prime fighting Soundwave with Rumble and Ravage. Man, it's just awesome. Oh, I even see Laserbeak in there. That's pretty awesome. Well, let's get right into it. We pick up where we left off in issue number 2, where Carly was just told by Spike's dad that her father was killed. And she's trying to grasp with the reality of what is going on. And she's like, who? How? How did this happen? And he goes, I gotta tell you, it's a giant robot. And she's like, what did it look like? Was it red? Was it gray? And now Mr. Wiki's like, tell me what's going on here. What's going on? And before you know it, Laserbeak crashes the party. As you can see here, Mr. Witwicky starts shooting at him, but it does nothing. Laserbeak immediately goes after Carly, and she's screaming, get back. And then you hear a voice from the distance. You heard the lady. And it's Cliff Jumper to the rescue. He marches in, grabs Laserbeak, throws him on the ground. As soon as he turns over to check on Carly, you got Spike's dad with a shotgun pointed at his face, screams, get away, and boom! Shoots Cliff Jumper right in the face and knocks him down. Mr. Witwicky grabs Carly and throws her in the police car, and she's like, wait, what's going on? Like, stop doing this. And they take off. You gotta understand, she just found out her father died. These giant robots are after her. The only one that was kind to her, Cliff Jumper, saved her life. And then he gets shot in the face. All kinds of chaos. We then get back to Starscream. They're back trying to repair Teletran 1 with Soundwave. And Soundwave's trying to explain to Starscream. He's like, look, they don't have the metals here to fix it. But maybe Megatron, as soon as he says Megatron, Starscream slaps Soundwave. Now we're building some tension here between Starscream and Soundwave. Y'all know you want to see it. You want to see the fight. And Starscream's like, I told you, never say that name. Never. And then they get like this alert, you know, coming on. And Starscream yells at Skywarp. He's like, look, I'm busy. Can you go deal with these insects? Can you just go deal with it? I'm busy in here. So Skywarp leaves. Now you got Mr. Witwicky and Carly. They go back to the old bar and they're like, hey, man, we got to get ready for something, man. We got to get ready. And the militia is set. The bar militia. They said, we're already a few steps ahead of you, brother. Let's go. Carly's trying to explain, hey, listen, I don't think all of them are bad. Listen to me. Listen to me. They're not listening. And then enters Cliff Jumper. He's like, hey guys, I think we may have gotten off on the wrong foot. But immediately they all start shooting him and he's laying outside. He's like, oh my goodness, not again. And before they can continue shooting on Cliff Jumper, Skywarp slams down. You can see this awesome shot right here, and they just start shooting at him, and it does absolutely nothing to the Transformers. He's like, it tickles, you know. He's kicking humans. He's stomping on them. Everything is going crazy. You get a quick glimpse of Optimus Prime, you know, saying, oh my gosh, we got to get there. Hang on, Spike. You got Skywarp saying, man, Starscream was right. This is a blast. I'm having fun swatting these insects, you know? And Skywarp sees Cliff Jumper on the ground, slowly walks over, and he's like, hey, this is gonna be fun. And Carly steps in front of Cliff Jumper's like, please don't do this. And Skywarp starts laughing, like, you're gonna protect him? Seriously? Pulls out his gun, you know, he aims it at Carly, and in comes Optimus Prime. Boom! Just smacks him down. Look at this shot. And now we've got Prime transforming, and he's like, all right, everybody take cover. This is a fight I must wage myself. Skywarp and Optimus Prime, one-on-one. They're going at it, you know? They got some moves in here. He's shooting them. He's kicking them. All these things are going on. The humans are watching. Optimus Prime picks up Skywarp, slams him on the ground. It does a complete body slam. And here we go. He extends the axe. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Bringing back the axe. And he's like, you fought hard, Skywarp, but let us be done now. And before he can take out Skywarp, oh, you humans, what are you doing? They shoot Optimus Prime in the arm with a rocket launcher. And it messes up his arm. And Skywarp is like, oh man, here we go. Now's my chance. And just starts laying a firefight on Optimus Prime. Totally messes up his arm. Optimus is standing there, and what the heck, Spike? Spike is running towards Optimus. I don't know why. I don't know what he could do, honestly, but he just feels concerned. You got Mr. Wick. He's like, pour it on, boys. We can get him. All shooting at Optimus Prime. Makes no sense. And then it happens. Spike running out to save Prime. He gets shot by the crossfire. And you see Optimus Prime looking at Spike, and he's like, oh no. No. You see Spike's dad like, what? No, not Spike. What is going on here? And then Skywarp, you know, he's still on the charge. He points out his gun, and then he looks like he's about to flick Spike with his fingers, right? Like this is an insect. He's not important. And Prime is like, I've had enough. I've had enough. Hits him with his forearm, looks at Skywarp, and rips off his own arm and starts beating the snot out of Skywarp with his own arm. Are you kidding me right now? This is insane. This is absolutely insane, and I love it. I love every minute of it. So he's hitting, he's slashing, he's knocking him out, and Skywarp is done. He's laying on the ground after being beaten by Optimus Prime's own arm. Prime immediately goes over and looks at Spike, and he remembers how fragile Earth is. He remembers the deer that he stepped on, you know? And he's going to pick up Spike. Spike's dad is like, man, don't you dare touch him. Don't you touch him. Optimus transforms in his beaten state. And he's like, I'm going to save your boy. Opens the door and asks Spike's dad to get in. And that is the end of issue number 3. What an issue. What an issue. What did you guys think? Did you guys like it? Are you loving the series so far? I know I am. I know I am. And I got an announcement. If you made it this far, if you could do me a huge favor and just write Cobra Commander in the comments section, that means I know you've been watching these videos from start to finish. It really means a lot to me. This whole change to the channel. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if all my old Star Wars subs are gonna leave. It doesn't matter at this point. I'm having way too much fun. But we're gonna start covering the Cobra Commander series, and I'm probably gonna start mixing it up a little bit. Or maybe just drop 2 videos a day, because I really need to get caught up, you know, and I'm gonna take the month of June and early July to kind of get caught up on all the series, so you got them fresh, man, right when they come out. But Cobra Commander is gonna be next. And we're gonna start dropping those, and then we're gonna do Duke. Anyway, this is Jay. Do me a favor, leave a like, leave a comment, share the video out. It really helps me out. I appreciate you. And we will catch you episode 4. Transformers issue number 4. Let's just jump right into it. Here we have Starscream going to check on Skywarp. Skywarp is damaged. He's on the ground. He needs help. He's like, Starscream, help me. Help me. And Starscream's like, it's okay, my friend. It's okay. I'll help you. Just tell me, where did they go? Where did they go? And he goes, they went to go help save the slugs. Talking about us humans. Starscream's like, that's pathetic, but not surprising. He goes, I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll be back. Now we get a radio message from Prime to Ratchet. You can see Wheeljack is next to be, I guess, recovered. And he's like, Ratchet, come in. He's like, what's going on, Optimus Prime? Like, what's happening? He goes, Human Spike is hurt. We need some help. Immediately, Starscream picks up where Prime is, calling him a coward, starts shooting at him. And Ratchet's like, all right, well, we're going to need more firepower. We've got to bring someone back. And off we go. You see Mr. Wiki holding Spike, saying, oh, I don't know what's going on. And Starscream transforms and stands in front of Prime, getting ready to blast him. And before he can do that, We go to Carly, who's in the car with Cliff Jumper, and he's like, this is the last chance to ditch Carly. Carly has a vendetta because we found out that Starscream killed her father, squished him like an insect in episode 1, or issue. I keep saying episode, but issue 1. And she's like, get him. Let's get him. Cliff Jumper runs him over from the back, makes him trip. Starscream tries to get up, and Optimus Prime just smashes Starscream, puts him on the ground. And it's like the 1-2 punch from the Autobot. Starscream's just getting it while they're racing towards the hospital. Optimus Prime then makes it to the hospital, transforms, is like, you got to help this human. Spike's dad's got him running on the inside, and here comes Laserbeak. Cliff Jumper screaming to Optimus Prime, hey, look out! Got to get them inside. They start laying down a fire. Remember, Optimus has one arm. He's got his gun. Him and Cliff Jumper are going after Laserbeak. Then all of a sudden, we got Rumble. Behind Cliff Jumper, hits him with those earthquaking, hands of his. Knocks him clean down. And here it is. A fight that everyone wants to see. Optimus Prime versus Soundwave. And Soundwave says the thing. He says the line, Optimus inferior, while he kicks Prime right in the face. And right before Soundwave was going to end Prime, just like finish him off, you have Starscream saying, wait, hold on a second. This is where they fix the squishy ones. Is that right? This is where you send them to be fixed. And he looks at Prime and it's like, I want you to suffer. You're so pathetic. I just want you to suffer, and we're gonna kill the ants while you watch before we end your life. We then make it back into the hospital scene where they're doing everything in their power to heal Spike, to bring him back. The doctors are working, and Starscream turns around, and he's like, blast every inch of this hospital. And they just go all in. You can see that the doctors are saying we lost power. They must have hit the generator. There's fire. Everything's going on. And Soundwave looks at Starscream and is like, hey, Starscream, we got a problem here. We got a problem. Autobots incoming. And here we go. We've got Ratchet and Jazz. Jazz makes his first appearance here. And it's freaking awesome, dude. We finally got old school Jazz, and I call him old school, but it's G1. So you got Cliff Jumpers excited. They're all set. Jazz transforms and just starts owning them. Because he's fresh, he's new, he's ready to get into the fight. Everybody else is kind of beaten up, So now you have Jazz. He goes over, and it looks like he gives an RKO to Soundwave and knocks him right on the ground. While he's keeping the Decepticons occupied, Prime gets up, Ratchet's ready, Cliff Jumper. You got Jazz, and look at this scene right here. And he's like, what do you say, Decepticons? Shall we finish it? No, not Starscream, not Soundwave. They got to leave. They're like, we're outnumbered. We got to retreat. We've got to get back. And Optimus looks down, and he's like, what's going on, Carly? What is happening? How is Spike? And we get this beautiful picture of Optimus Prime looking into the hospital, just saying, like, what can I do? Because the power's still out. They can't save him. He doesn't understand. Spike is about to die, and Prime is going to make the sacrifice here. You have an emotional moment between Spike and his father, and Prime is like, we've got to get the power turned back on.
I'm going to pull from the Matrix. Ratchet is yelling at Prime like, no, you shouldn't do that. And Prime is like, no, no more death, Ratchet, even if it comes at a price. And again, I can't say this loud enough, even for the people in the back. This series has grabbed everything that I love about the hero Optimus Prime, who he is, the sacrifices that he makes. It is perfect so far. Perfect. He opens up the Matrix, probably the last bit of his power, to get the power turned back on to where the doctors can save Spike's life. And Prime looks down as they begin to work on him. Now, getting back, Starscream and Soundwave head back to the Ark where Teletran won. And he's like, man, we don't have enough Decepticons to fight. And we need to get Teletran 1 repaired. Like, look at that. I need to be fixed. We need to bring back some of our brothers that are laying out on the ground. And Soundwave has brought in Skywarp, and he's all messed up. He can't even walk. And Soundwave goes, you know, I told you we can't fix Teletran 1 until we have Cybertron technology. They look over at Skywarp, and they know what they have to do. And Skywarp is pleading, what are you doing, brothers? Don't do this. And they rip him apart, one of the Seekers. They rip him apart because they're going to use him as parts to fix Teletran 1. So now we go back to the hospital where Spike's dad is sitting there having a moment, just saying he doesn't see the good in the world anymore. There's no point. There's no good left. And he's like, after what happened to your brother, you know, so we're getting a little taste of what happened here. And Spike is laying there in a coma. Then Spike's dad looks over and sees Optimus Prime sitting outside, just waiting to hear the news. And another patient comes out and is like, is it true you could change into a truck? He goes, I can. So he's like, will you show me? And the guy kind of freaks out. But then Mr. Wickwiki walks out and was like, did you save my son? Did you save him? He goes, no, I did all I could do. I gave everything that I had to get the power back on. He goes, everything else is left up to the great spark. And he goes, you mean God? Don't you fall into that category? And so they have a little moment, you know, talking to each other about what's going on. And then we get back to where the Autobots are staying, and Ratchet is explaining, hey, we don't have the Energon to keep going. We don't have the energy. And while they're talking, you see Jazz just fall over, you know, and he's like, I don't have it anymore. And Ratchet's like, I pulled all the Energon we had left from all of our fellow Autobot bodies, but it's still not enough, even for one warrior. We've got to find a solution. Prime is trying to consult Jazz. He's like, just rest now. We're going to figure this all out. And Ratchet's like, listen, Prime, we've got to start thinking about ourselves, not these people. Are they even worth saving? And Prime, being Optimus Prime, it says they are worth saving, Ratchet. Everything is. He's like, well, I can't help heal you or anyone else until we find a way to get more Energon. But he does say, Prime, I do have something that maybe can help you. And talking about fixing his arm, he opens up the back of the truck and you could see Prime like, I cannot do this. And Ratchet's like, you're wounded and you're barely standing. We need you to survive. You've got to do this. Spike's dad then shows up and says, I think I have an idea on how to solve your energy problem. Then we get back to Carly and Cliffjumper, and they're having their moment. And Cliffjumper expresses to Carly, look, Starscream killed my entire clan, kind of like his family. And they're having a moment because what they have in common is that Starscream has killed not only Carly's father, but also the family of Cliffjumper. So they're kind of like having their own moment together. It's rough. And then Cliffjumper looks up and he says, Optimus, with his eyes wide open. And here we have the first image of Optimus Prime with Megatron's arm with the cannon attached. Look at this thing. I never thought I would ever see something like this. I got to be honest with you. I need an action figure right away. I need something. They got to put something together where I can own this because this is awesome. I don't know how long it's going to last, but this is sick. He looks at Cliff Jumper and he's like, how do you feel about going on the offensive? You know, now it's time. Like, just look at this image for a second. My goodness. Prime is ready. He's like, it's go time. I've got a new arm. I've got a cannon on this thing. Let's make it happen. He's rounding up all the Autobots, and off we go. We then get back to Starscream and Soundwave just shredding the wounded Decepticons to try to fix Teletran 1 so he can bring back as many people as possible. You know, and Starscream is saying, victory. And he's screaming to himself, I am the Decepticon leader. Today, tomorrow. And you can see this evil laugh. You see what's going on. And then they drop the bomb. As soon as Starscream says forever, we get our first look at Megatron, frozen in the ice, missing his arm. In case you're wondering, you gotta read Cobra Commander to find out exactly what's been going on with Megatron. But this is where he's at, and this is how the issue ends. My goodness. This thing gets better and better as I continue to read, and I couldn't be happier so far with what they have done with the Transformers. Look at this. We got an awesome image of Prime, and now we've got our first look at Megatron, and he is just in bad shape. We got Starscream leading the Decepticons. Everyone's beaten up. People have already died, and we're only in issue number 4, but what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it, and I appreciate all the positive feedback that's coming from this series. You guys are absolutely amazing, but I can't wait to dig in and get into issue number 5. That's it. That's the video. Please like, share. It really helps me out, and we will catch you next time. Transformers issue number 5. And before we begin, can we just look at this amazing cover? You got Optimus Prime looking at the gun of Megatron. We already know from the last issue that he's already wearing Megatron's arm as his arm, you know, because he ripped off his arm and just went to work. He didn't have an arm left, so they attached Megatron's arm with the cannon, and that's Optimus Prime right now in issue number 5. The cover's fantastic, and I might do an entire video on some of the awesome Starscream covers because there's been so many very cool variants of covers for this series, so we might look into that. If you guys want it, let me know. Also, real quick, so many people are asking, hey, where can I buy this series? In the top of the description, I got the Amazon link for Volume 1. I'm sure if you click on it, Volume 2, Volume 3, individual comics, they're all there in the list. So go check it out if you want to pick this up. I encourage people to pick this up. It's been awesome. Now let's get into issue number 5. We start off with Sparkplug talking to Optimus Prime, and we've got some really cool visuals of both of them sharing war stories and the wars that they've been involved in. This is Spike's dad. I call him Sparkplug. In this series, they call him Sparky. So, and I love how they put, you know, Sparky's expressions and Optimus Prime's as they both talk about the wars that they were a part of and how hard it's been. So they're having a moment, you know, they were having a moment of bonding, of like understanding each other. And he was asking about how long your war is, Optimus Prime. He goes, man, it's been so long, I can't even count. That's how long it's been. So it's really cool to see this in the story, you know, that both of them have something in common when it comes to fighting wars. We immediately go back to the arc where Starscream and Soundwave have gotten Teletran 1 to work with the body of Skywarp. You know, you could see it in there. And Starscream's like, yeah, it's working. Let's bring our brothers back. And Soundwave wants to start with his beloved Ravage. And you could see here Starscream says, what? With the smallest one? And he punts Soundwave's beloved Ravage out of his hand. So we got more tension brewing between Soundwave and Starscream. And Starscream's like, more is more, Soundwave. More is more. They bring back Thundercracker. Thundercracker's like, oh, man, I'm back. But like, what did you do to my brother, Skywarp? Like, he's in the computer. And Starscream's like, he made a sacrifice so we can all get back for the greater good. They bring back Frenzy and Reflector. Now, I don't know anybody that owned a Reflector. He's the camera transformer Decepticon, but I guess he has something in this story. Reflector immediately is like, it's good to be back, Starscream, but where is and before he could even say Megatron, Starscream grabs him and says, stay focused on the enemy. Starscream does not want to hear that name. They get a report in that the Autobots have found the power source where they could start bringing back Autobots, and Starscream's like, we got to end this once and for all. Everybody follow me. Everybody that's back, let's stop them before they take our power, right? So then we head back to this area where Sparky, has shown them that you can get power from this dam, from the water. It's straight from the source. So if we can get this turbine going, we can get all the energy that you need, right? And so they start working on it and trying to fix it, and we get a shot here of Wheeljack. Wheeljack's only been put together half, right? Only half of his body. And he needs to be fully recovered. But Ratchet's like, hey, what's going on, Wheeljack? How's it working? He's like, I don't know. We got to test it out. Let's see what happens so we can start bringing people back. They yell at Cliffjumper, pull the lever, let's see, and it starts working. Wheeljack is like, it's working. Let's get you fixed, Optimus. We need you fixed first. And he goes, no. In Optimus Prime fashion and who he is, he's like, I'm last. The Warriors first. Again, I can't tell you how much I love how they have captured the essence of Optimus Prime in this series. It's awesome. And they bring back RC. Now, you might not have heard of her before. She made her appearance in Transformers, the movie, and don't get me started on that. And unfortunately, according to Hasbro, they had some toys ready to go, but they never released it during Transformers, the movie. I'm not sure if they have one out now. They might have, but that was kind of her story. She was introduced in Transformers, the movie, and no toy was ever made. So, you know, but she was brought back. And she's just like, what's going on, Ratchet, my old friend? And before the pleasantries, before the welcome, she screams at Ratchet to get down and moves him out of the way as the Decepticons begin their attack. You got Thundercracker screaming justice for Skywarp, you know, and Starscream is like, they're rebuilding. We got to destroy that place that's giving them power. And then we get this awesome scene with Optimus Prime, you know, and some of the others, and Sparkplug there shooting at Laserbeak and just firing all around. Massive action right here. We've got Ratchet picking up Jazz with RC, and like they're trying to revive as many Autobots as possible to get into the fight. And then Starscream releases Reflector. Reflector's like, here we go, Autobots. Optimus Prime looks at him dead in the face and pulls out the cannon from Megatron's arm and points it at Reflector. Reflector's like, oh dear. And in the next page, he is totally annihilated, erased from history, evaporated by that cannon. I mean, let's be honest. If they were going to pick one to die, why not be Reflector? I don't know anybody that owned this particular Decepticon. I don't know how popular he was. You know, but he's gone, and his boy Frenzy was like, Reflector, my buddy, what are you doing? Prime grabs him by the leg and just slams him down, slams his face down. You can see parts of him just flying up. I don't know if Frenzy survived this. So these two could have been brought back for literally 4 pages, and they're no longer with us. They're gone. You got Cliffjumper and Carly she's got a vengeance, you know? She wants to see Starscream gone after what happened to her father. She runs out there. Silly humans, always messing things up. And she just takes fire. They start shooting the ground, and Carly falls off the cliff of the dam. You see Prime and everybody look up, screaming Carly. And here we have RC. She transforms, and she's like, I don't know who you are, but if Prime cares about you, then I care about you. Rescues Carly in her hot rod. It's pretty awesome. And you got Cliffjumper very excited, like, oh man, it's so good to have you back. And Rumble's getting ready to annihilate Cliffjumper. And here comes Jazz. Jazz has been brought back, and he wrecks Rumble. You know, I don't know if Rumble has survived this either, because they're killing off characters left and right, and we're only on issue number 5. You got Jazz. You got Cliffjumper. You got everybody fighting, and then it happens. Starscream lands, and he looks at Prime, and we're about to see the showdown. And they mince words. And Prime shows him the Megatron arm with the cannon. And he goes, last I remember, you were cowering in front of this very weapon. Shows him the gun and says, a constant reminder of what you'll never be. I love it. I love it. Prime with the one-liners that just gets under everyone's skin. That was just perfectly said. Starscream has a trigger moment, a reaction, runs after him, and tries to knock him down. But no. Prime turns around with the cannon and just begins an assault. Nails Starscream. Starscream's like, we got to retreat. We got to get out of here. And Prime smells blood in the water. People are cheering. The Decepticons have retreated with whoever was still alive. And Prime's like, it's time to go after him. It's time. We can end this right now. We got to roll out. There's a moment here with Carly. Carly's like, I got to go. I got to see this. And they're like, no, it's too dangerous. We can't let you go. And she's like, I got to see this end. I got to see you take out Starscream. Please. And while she's standing there, Cliffjumper grabs her and pulls her into his car while he's heading out. He goes, you're right, Carly. You should be there when we finally stop the Decepticons for good. In the next page, they're heading out to the Ark. At least that's what I've always called it. They don't really call it that in the series, at least yet. But Prime is like, this is the vessel that brought us to your planet. They're like, yes. And as soon as they get close, Prime is smashed by a giant dump truck that's green that can only mean one thing. That's right. The Constructicons have been reborn. And you could see Starscream here with an evil grin. He's like, I knew you would follow me, you stupid Autobots. I knew you'd follow me back, but look at my new toys. And he yells at the Constructicons to merge into, we all know what's coming. We all know. Into Devastator. We get our first look at Devastator. And he's got his hand over Prime. Prime looks beaten. You see Sparkplug there too. They're looking up at this giant transformer that combined, you know. And that is the end. That is the end of this issue. My goodness. I can't wait to get into the next one. But we got Devastator back. And Prime is about to go one-on-one with Devastator. I'm not sure. But are you loving this series? Are you glad that we changed the channel up? I hope so. I hope you would give this video a like. I hope that you'll share it out and help me get into that Transformer algorithm. And if you watched it all the way to the end, could you just type in Devastator in the comments section? That tells me that you watched it all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. This is Jay, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Transformers issue number 6. And let's take a moment and look at this amazing cover as we have Sparky standing on the body of Optimus Prime. If you remember, Prime is about to face off with Devastator. Now let's get into it. We immediately have a quick flashback and we find out what happened to Spike's brother, to Sparkplug's other son. You can see him here. It looks like he's an astronaut. He looks at his father and says, don't worry, Dad. Nothing bad is going to happen. and we could see it looks like the space shuttle is exploding. And that's probably what happened, how he died. And that is why Sparky is dealing with so much depression and emotion and things like that because of the loss of his other son. We then get back to the action. Optimus Prime screaming at his fellow Autobots. We need cover. He's dragging Ratchet while being chased by Devastator. And then in the background, we have Cliff Jumper with Carly. He's screaming, saying, Optimus, we're on our way. You can see Devastator just trying to stomp on them. And Carly's like, no, just wait a second. Just stop for a second. And she begins to talk a little bit of reason into Cliff Jumper, saying, listen, we're small. We're not the strongest. We're not the most powerful. We need to use our heads if we're going to stay alive. So she points out, she's like, let's get into the Ark and maybe we could find something more powerful to use to destroy that thing. So they see this little area that they need to get into so they can get into the Ark. Meanwhile, we have Starscream just laughing at Devastator, trying to stomp out the Autobots. And while he's standing there watching, Optimus Prime comes out of nowhere with a kick to the side of the head. Starscream, no matter what he does, he is just not a good leader. Even though he's my favorite Transformer, he's just not a good leader. He's very chaotic. You know, he just wants death and destruction, and he doesn't think things through. So Prime just lays him out. Then we get a quick shot at Thundercracker, who is still wanting revenge for what has happened to Skywarp, not knowing that it was Starscream. You have Optimus Prime telling Sparky to watch out, and then it happens. Devastator grabs Prime by the leg, picks him up, and slams him onto the ground. Devastator calling him small, weak, and feeble. Prime just being smashed to the ground. The other ones, RC and Ratchet, begin shooting up at Devastator to hope that they could save Optimus Prime. They grab Prime and drag him inside to the Ark. And they're like, we got to get the door closed. There's Jazz. He's doing everything in his power to push Devastator back. Ratchet, he's like, I can't crawl fast enough. He's all damaged, his legs. And Devastator grabs Ratchet's other leg. They begin screaming. He's like, they've got my leg. And Jazz finally hits the button to slam the door shut while ripping Ratchet's leg from his body. You can see it here. And Devastator's hand, he's just like, you know, he's got his legs. So now Soundwave shows up and says, hey, listen, let's go to the back of the cave. You know, he's using his smarts, his intelligence. And he's like, it's a little weaker on that side. We can get in and flush them out if we go to the other side. So Devastator heads that way. You got Cliff Jumper and Carly. They're looking through parts of the Ark, and they find a gun. And in comes Starscream. Carly looks over and says, you killed my dad. And Starscream starts laughing, you know, and he goes, wait, what is a dad? And then you have Cliff Jumper facing off against Starscream. I never thought I'd see this day. I mean, personally, Starscream, if he was a little more level-headed, could wipe the floor of Cliff Jumper and Carly. But no, again, he's so chaotic. And they start their attack. And immediately we get back to Optimus Prime. Oh no, and we're reliving the scene of Transformers, the movie 86, where Prime is laying there and everyone's looking at him. And they're like, I don't know. I don't think we can save him. And I'm like, please don't do this to me again. We're only in issue number 6. Prime is like, man, I'm sorry. He starts apologizing, opens up the Matrix, and he's like, one of you have got to take this. And he drops it on the ground. Sparky, Spike's dad, looks over and he says, if there's anything I can do, I've got to do it. I've got to make the ultimate sacrifice. And I don't know how this works, but he says, take care of my son, take care of my world. and he jumps into the Matrix, causing some kind of spark. I don't know, it just sucked the life force out of him. I'm not sure how this works, but as you can see, it just recharged the entire Matrix. They pick it up, they put it in Prime, and you can see him just healing himself, you know, coming back to full strength. And Prime is like, you will not be forgotten, Sparky. And I promise I will protect your son, and I will protect the whole Earth. Just classic Optimus Prime. And I probably say this every issue. I freaking love it. How they grabbed Optimus Prime. He's like, I'm gonna protect everything. Your sacrifice will never go unnoticed. And in comes Devastator, but we don't have a crippled Prime anymore. We've got a focused Prime, a rejuvenated Prime, a powerful Optimus Prime. He's like, I'm gonna start with this green demon. As the hand of Devastator and the other Decepticons make their way in, Prime shoots one of the fingers off of Devastator, and it knocks down Thundercracker as well. Prime picks up his other gun and just starts going crazy onto Devastator. He's got his own cannon. He's got Megatron's cannon, and they're just going at it, man. This is awesome. And he's like, nah, I ain't backing down. I ain't running. I'm heading right into the beast. And he does a freaking drop kick to the face. I love the wrestling moves in this. I absolutely love it. Into Devastator and knocks him back down. The action switches back to Starscream and Cliffjumper. Starscream's got the upper hand. And, you know, instead of just killing the Autobot and moving on, Starscream loves to torture, loves to play games, you know, and all that stuff. And while he's got Cliffjumper in a chokehold, Carly manages to pull the trigger of one of the guns laying down, and it pops Starscream right near the face and knocks him down. Cliffjumper then picks up the gun, walks over, and says, I've always wondered what this moment would feel like. Points the gun at Starscream's face. Starscream, typical Starscream, begins to beg and says, please. Carly looks up at Cliffjumper, and Cliffjumper's like, I can't do it. And Carly's like, what? I thought this was what I wanted, but he goes, he killed your entire, he goes, I know, Carly. He killed my dad. He goes, I know all of it. I know. Starscream then is able to get up and grab Carly. He says, you'll both be put to rest soon. And he's squeezing her below the legs. And this just shows the difference between the Autobots and the Decepticons. Cliffjumper, clearly, you know, with morals, with value, saying, I don't want to be him. You know, we're not like them. We're better than them. We're not going to act like them. We're not going to stoop on their level. You know, it's just not who I am. You know, it's just, and I love how they captured that. We immediately get back to the fight everybody wanted to see. Optimus Prime. He's got freaking Megatron's gun cannon on the top while he's transformed into his rig, and it's just blasting Devastator. Devastator's calling him, you stupid red ant. You coward, why are you running? But it was all in the plans. All in the plans. And he's like, is that all, Devastator? Just egging him on. And he's like, is that all you got? He's like, yeah, come after me. Let's go. Let's do this. Shooting Devastator. And he's like, that's right. I got something for you. Optimus Prime picks up Devastator and delivers the Mega Body Slam. Unbelievable, dude. I love it. And he just throws Devastator over the cliff. And while he's falling off the cliff, you see Starscream, Carly, they're having a moment. Cliffjumper's like, let her go. Devastator begins to break apart and crumble and crashes on top of Starscream and Carly. And you can see Starscream screaming like, what is going on? Why does this always happen to me? Why? I can never win. It seems like, and they just start tumbling. Cliffjumper reaches out, grabs Carly, saves her. you know? And Carly's still like, you could have ended it. You could have ended it all. She doesn't understand why Cliffjumper couldn't kill Starscream. Devastator, you know, he's not combined anymore. He's back into their 5 different parts. And he's like, don't worry, Starscream, we'll save you. Put Starscream in the back of the dump truck. And then we have this moment with Optimus Prime and Soundwave. He's like, Soundwave, wait. He goes, let's be done with all this fighting. Let's try to save our world together. Reaches out his hand. And immediately Soundwave turns around and tries to punch Prime. And Prime just catches his punch. And he's like, make no mistake, Soundwave. I desire peace, but I am no fool. And immediately Thundercracker picks up Soundwave while he's holding on to Ravage. And off they go. Prime is standing there and says, until next time, Decepticon. And then we get right back into the hospital with Spike waking up from his coma. And he holds up something that he's written down that says, where's my dad? And that is the end of issue number 6. These issues get better and better. And listen, I'm going through this whole thing in one take. So if I stumble across some of my words, I apologize, but I love how Optimus Prime is like, Soundwave is the only one with a level head here. And maybe I could get to him. Maybe there's cracks, you know, in the Decepticon armor. Maybe there's something going on, because they also gave us a sneak peek of the next issue. And look at this cover. You got Starscream. Looks like he's about to crush Ravage, setting up, man, they're setting up a civil war in the Decepticons. It's gonna get good, I'm telling you. But what did you think? Did you enjoy this issue? Let me know in the comments section below. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Again, we're getting ready to do Duke, Cobra Commander, Void Rivals. We're gonna knock them all out. I don't know how much time I have, but we're gonna try to get them all on the channel. I know I'm behind, but thank you guys for being with us. This is Jay, and we will catch you next time.